Jonathan has been using Neighbor Aid for a few weeks and managed to get a few helpful neighbors to look out for his dad. However, Jonathan's dad suffered a bad fall a few weeks later and was in need of constant surveillance. However, Nadia, who volunteered to aid Jonathan's father, was running a temperature and called in sick. Nadia quickly logs into the application and cancels Jonathan's request with her reason for cancellation. She also provides a short description on the reason for cancellation, stating that she is only able to visit a week later. She messaged Jonathan and left a few missed calls the night before in her attempts to reach him. However, Jonathan only saw the message the next morning while rushing to work. Jonathan felt frustrated upon seeing the notification of Nadia's cancellation. He presses on the notification and sees the prompt where the application will help to seek another neighbor within his neighborhood to check in on his father. Jonathan is informed with a pop-up that he might get help from another neighbor living in his dad's neighborhood. He immediately presses agree in hopes that another helper can come and check in on his father. Shortly after, Jonathan receives a notification that another reputable neighbor, Alex, from a nearby block has agreed to help after reading his circumstances. A chat function between Alex and Jonathan is created. Alex mentioned in the chat that he is only able to check in on his father 2 days later instead of the next day as scheduled. Jonathan then confirms the request with the new helper. He is satisfied and decides to simply call his father the next day to check up on him instead. The next day, he proceeds to call his dad during lunchtime, but to no avail. Despite calling multiple times, there is no response from his dad. Immensely worried, he proceeds to the app to issue an urgent request. His request is immediately broadcasted to every available Neighbor Aid user within 2 kilometers of his dad's house. However, after 2 minutes of waiting, he received a pop-up that no users within the area was available for his emergency request. His request was then automatically expanded to others within the 5-kilometer area. Worried, Jonathan was prepared to take time off from work to get to his father's place. Thankfully, another Neighbor Aid user, Michael, accepted the urgent request and Jonathan received the notification. A new chat is then created between Michael and Jonathan. Michael, who accepted the request, would then receive the address of Jonathan's dad. Anxious, Jonathan wants to know Michael's location. He sees a destination pin to view Michael's location and presses the pin. He is prompted if he wants to view Michael's location. He accepts, causing Michael's live location to appear on the chat for Jonathan. Michael proceeds to Jonathan's dad's place and updates Jonathan using the chat function. Michael sends in a photograph of him and Jonathan's dad along with an update on his dad's well-being. On seeing the updates, Jonathan finally breathes a sigh of relief, knowing that his dad is well taken care of. Satisfied with Michael's help, Jonathan goes to Michael's profile to leave a rating for Michael for being quick to accept his request and caring for his dad. He leaves Michael a 5-star rating and then proceeds to happily get on with his work.